And there we have a rather contemplative start to the program this afternoon, and that's the music of Richard Strauss, his Alpine Symphony. I was actually hoping to make the climactic point of that symphony, but I miscued, so we heard the end. But anyhow, short missions today. I've got to go out shortly, but I thought I'd chime in and welcome everyone. Happy New Year, and it's good to be back, and I don't know what I'm going to do in this space, but we'll slowly get things organised and hopefully have a workable situation. I've just installed shelving for another 3,000 records so I can start moving stuff out of here and hopefully make everything work more smoothly. That's the plan anyhow, New Year's resolution. So what we'll do, we'll start off with a 20s hit, a recording from 1927. It's Nat Schulkritz's orchestra, and a piece that reflects what I've been doing over the last few days, last week. I've been climbing up in the main range. It's been really good. So we'll have a listen to Where Is My Maya? vk3sl testing.
Yelling out loud, I saw Mrs. Friedrich Wilhelm Meyer, and she said to me, say, did you see little Mr. Meyer? He's a mountain climber. Every weekend he goes to spend way up in the Himalaya mountains. Tell me how he spends his time. Why don't he take me when he goes to climb? Now where is my Maya? Und wer Himalaya? Each week, each higher. My little Maya, I've decided Himalaya. Now what is the reason he keeps on climbing? It's not the season. I'm asking where is that Maya? For what goes up must come down.
Schulkrit and the orchestra from 1927. Where is My Maya? And that was a big hit. In fact, it piggybacked on a European hit. I think it was Was Macht der Maya? That's right, something like that. I'll have to find the original. It'll be out there somewhere on the tube. Nothing like a bit of continental music and continental influence. And we'll continue now with something from Paris, a Mercury 78 on the table, a hit from 1954 with Georgina Gibbs. This record has a big crack, but we're using our NR system, and hopefully it will sound okay.
Stranger beware, there's love in the air under Paris skies. Try to be smart and don't let your heart catch on fire. Love becomes king the moment it's spring under Paris skies. Lonely hearts meet somewhere on the street of desire. Parisian love can bloom high in a skylight room or in a gay cafe where hundreds of people can see. I wasn't smart and I lost my heart under Paris skies. Don't ever be a heartbroken stranger like me. Yes, I was a fool, for Paris can be so beautifully cruel. Watch what you do, the same thing can happen to you. Watch what you do, the same thing can happen to you.
The evocative strains of French music from, well, it's not really French music, but it feels like French music, and it was Georgina Gibbs on a Mercury. Well, I don't know if we've got Frankie or not today, maybe not, but we'll just do what we do for a little bit longer, not terribly long, till about 6 o'clock tonight, because I'm going to see West Side Story. But on the other table we have a Capitol record. And this one is also from the year 1954. In fact, we've got a folder of 1954 records here, which I'll spin for the next little while. And this one happens to be Mr. Sinatra. And Old Blue Eyes was Bing Crosby, wasn't it? So, what do they call Frank Sinatra? Can't remember. Anyhow, this record's terrific. He is on fire here. This is the golden age of Sinatra. He did things really well when he was young. Then he sort of, I don't know, something happened and he lost his mojo. But that's just my humble opinion. Let's have a listen to Frank Sinatra. I've got the world on a string.
I've got the world on a string, sitting on a rainbow. Got the string around my finger. What a world, what a life, I'm in love. I got a song that I sing, I can make the rain go anytime I move my finger. Lucky me, can't you see I'm in love? Life is a beautiful thing, as long as I hold the string. I'd be a silly so-and-so if I should ever let it go. I got the world on a string, sitting on a rainbow. Got the string around my finger. What a world, what a life, I'm in love. Life is a beautiful thing, as long as I hold the string. I'd be a silly so-and-so if I should ever let it go. I got the world on a string, sitting on a rainbow. Got the string around my finger. What a world. Man, this is a lie. Hey now, I'm so in love.
Frank Sinatra with Nelson Riddle and the orchestra, 1954. And we'll feature that year today because I found a folder and it's about the only thing I can access at this point in time, but it'll be all different soon. I'm going to start uploading records into the new shelves, and that will make a huge difference to my organisation because I presently only have access to about 10% of the collection because it's all hemmed in. Well, I'm looking forward to that all changing very soon. Okay, well, we have the Four Knights, the Four Ralph Knights, and this record is Oh Baby Mine. Again, 1954 in the groove.
Oh baby mine, oh baby mine, oh baby mine, oh baby mine.
I get so lonely when I dream about you. Can't do without you. That's why I dream about you. If I could only put my arms about you, life would be so fair.
If you were there,
We two could hug and kiss and never tire. I'm on fire. You are my one desire. I get so lonely when I dream about you. Why can't you be there? Tossing and turning in my slumber,
baby more,
holding you it seems.
oh baby,
I give you kisses without number, but only in my dreams.
oh baby mine.
I get so lonely when I dream about you. Can't do without you. That's why I dream about you. If I could only put my arms about you, life would be so fair. Tossing and turning in my slumber,
Baby,
holding you is seen.
oh baby,
I give you kisses without number, but only in my dreams.
oh baby mine.
I get so lonely when I dream about you. Can't do without you. That's why I dream about you. If I could only put my arms about you, life would be so fair.
Oh baby mine,
Life would be so fair.
oh baby mine.
Life would be so fair.
There we have the Four Ralph Knights and Oh Baby Mine on the Capitol 78. They sound good. These laminated pressings just sound amazing with the right styly profile. And what we'll do is have a look at the other turntable, which is lined up with a Philips 78 from the same year, 1954. And on this occasion we have, what do we have? We have, I'm going to look it up here. Oh yes, it's a Frankie Lane record, this one. And of course, Frankie Lane had the hit factory in the early 50s. He was making hit after hit. And this instance, it is the flip side, actually, the B-side of Granada, which was a big one for him. This track is New Orleans. This is vk3sl testing on 160 and UHF.
If
you've never seen a quaint old southern city, just think of New Orleans. If you've never seen that town, boy, it's a pity. There's nothing like my New Orleans. It will remind you of old-fashioned lace. A glass of wine will reach your smiling face. And if you ever see a black-eyed gal like mine, boy, you're right in New Orleans. Fashion lace, a glass of wine will reach your smiling face. And if you ever see a black-eyed gal like mine, boy, you're right in my New Orleans. You're right in New Orleans.
Classic Emoting from Mr. Lane, Frankie Lane, recording from 1954, the year of choice. We're sampling 78s from that time. Hello, I hear something in the background. Is there anybody there?
Yes, good afternoon.
Hello.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, Frank. How are you?
I'm fine. Well, we just had the departure of the family.
Ah, right. Okay. I'm glad I caught you, because I'm just doing a short missions today, just until about 6 o'clock, and then I'm heading off to see West Side Story.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a new film, and it's sort of got a bit of press. So
what did you think?
Well, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, you haven't seen it? Sorry, I thought you were right.
Yes, I'll head off to see it.
It's on my to-do list.
Right, I'll be able to give you a report on it. But it should be interesting. Apparently there's some new up-and-coming singer who's taking the world by storm, and they auditioned 30,000 people for the role.
Incredible.
So,
I've seen the other movie, and I've been to a staged version of it.
Yeah, right. Great.
I'd have to confess it's one of my favourite musicals.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
No, you're not heavily into musicals, but I think it is.
Look, I don't mind musicals, to be honest. I don't mind. I've just got to put myself in the right headspace, Frank. And
Yeah, sure.
yeah. So did you see the year off with a bang?
Oh, yes, we did.
Yeah.
With New Year's Eve at the neighbours, and then back for afternoon tea that we didn't get time to have New Year's Eve.
Okay.
And it just keeps on keeping on.
Oh, very good.
But I think we're through to the other end.
Yes. Well, I was determined to do something sort of a little bit or minor monumental for me, anyhow, and I did a solo walk for 4 days. and
Whereabouts?
up in the Jagungal Wilderness, up in the northern part of the Kosciuszko Range.
Oh, you went where you said, "Oh, Stephen, that's a long, long walk. Time to be on your own."
Yeah, it was a long time, 4 days. I've actually met up with lots of people out there, but it is very remote country, and I haven't walked there since the 90s, and it was a sort of a stark reality check about how unfit I am. But
You can't be too unfit or you wouldn't be back.
well, look, I just had to walk very slowly and take care, and it was really one of the best things I've done in a very, very long time.
That's wonderful.
And I'm keen to do more because I think it's difficult in some ways. Psychologically, it's difficult being in your own headspace after being with a family as big as mine, and being
Yes, indeed.
sort
Because you kind of wouldn't have much time for yourself, really.
well, that's it. There's a constant social dynamic, whether it's at work or at home. It's just absolutely constant, and to sort of be in my own headspace is a rare thing. And so it took a while to adjust, and it was quite sort of unsettling, to be honest. But look, after a while, it was one of the most powerful experiences, and I was just in the world of Bach for a lot of the time.
Couldn't be in a better world.
Yeah, and I practiced my oral memory because that's one of the aspects of my playing that I struggle with. I'm very visual I have to read music a lot, and I can hear things, and I've got a good ear and all of that, but memorizing large pieces and all of its complexity is something I've always struggled with. I used to be able to do it when I was very young, but anyhow,
You do it by picturing the score?
Yeah, look, there are many ways. You do it by tactile, by feel, by picturing the score, and by the sound. Well, I practiced the sound, and I went through just Bach suite after Bach suite, running it in real time in my brain as I walked, using my walking meter to calibrate. And
That's wonderful.
it was really, really interesting. I mean, it took a lot of rehearsal. I had to practice and practice to get the movements right and get things in the right scope. But it took a life into itself. It was just amazing.
You were sort of playing air cello.
Yeah, I was just playing music in my head. And
Yeah, I know.
so, if I was ever to be incapacitated and couldn't walk or couldn't do anything, I would be able to inhabit that headspace. And that's a very sort of satisfying sort of thing to
It gives you a feeling of being self-sufficient, doesn't it?
Well, it is. It's a very powerful sort of aspect of self-sufficiency, and of course just the whole engagement and doing a walk is the illusion of self-sufficiency, because you're carrying everything on your back and walking in. It's very difficult terrain to walk in. I mean, some of the mountains, or Mount Jagungal was a 1 and 3 climb.
My God.
And it's really slow. It's like, for me, it was like 250 meters an hour.
Oh, dear.
And just slowly, and just you have to breathe, and just it's like a form of meditation. But you find, I got to the peak. I actually got to the summit of Mount Jagungal.
Well done.
Kate and I climbed it in '98, and I hadn't been back since. But it was a really special moment because it was a perfect day, and there wasn't a breath of wind, and it's above 2,000 meters. It's the last of the 2,000 meter peaks in the main range, and this. You could just see the world. It was incredible. It's just mountain range after mountain range after mountain range in every direction, and it was such a vista. It was unbelievable, and I spent hours up there, and it was really incredible. And then on the way up, it's just all the wildflowers are in bloom at the moment.
Yeah,
So
of course, well,
it's just so much beauty and colour, and orchids and daisies, and all of the alpine flowers are just in abundance. So I just relished in that, and
how was the weather for you?
yeah, it was good, Frank. It was really good. I was very lucky. It was a bit hot, and it's incredibly exposed because most of it is above the tree line. So there's not much, there's nowhere to go. You have to really lather up with, with sunscreen and stuff.
Yeah,
and,
sure.
And just be aware of those sort of necessities, and have plenty of fluids. I didn't quite take enough food because I got quite sort of weak at different points, but it wasn't an issue. It was never a problem. And it's something I need to do, and I'll do a lot more of now, especially solo walking. And or Kate's keen to join me next time.
There you are.
So we probably be back on the track again at some point. And it's just this vast wonderland up there on the main range. It's a huge huge area. It's the size of European countries. It's a massive area.
That's right.
It's so fantastic. So there we go. That's my
Were
New
there
Year's.
any people around?
Yeah, there were quite a few people doing walks up there. And, met some great people. Met a group of young lawyers. I actually talked about you to them. I mentioned you.
Got to be careful of those lawyers.
Yeah, but they were keen and they're in their 20s and they were just starting their careers, and the group of girls, and they were just doing this walk. And
Good luck to them.
Yeah, they're tuned into the environment as well. So, it's great to meet people. So, yeah, it was all good. So that's a very positive start to the year. And I have to say, I after summiting Mount Jagungal, and I camped at the base of it, and I watched the sunset, the last sunset of the new year, and I watched the sunrise for the next year.
Oh, superb.
I got up at 5:30 a.m. and just watched it, and it was just this magnificent aura. It was just something so... And the weather was perfect. So, it was really good. So,
Great stuff.
thank you for sharing all of that. That was a rave.
Did you have any radio with you?
No, I deliberately didn't.
Yes, I was going to say that it tend to shatter the mood, wouldn't it?
Yeah, look, I took no electronics except for my phone, which I didn't use, and I did take a camera when I took some
You need
photos.
to have that.
Yeah, and I was completely out of the media. I didn't listen to anything at all from the moment I left home until the moment when I got back late last night. So there we go. Yeah, anyhow,
Well done.
thank
Great
you.
stuff.
No, it's a life affirming, and we live in a remarkable country, and just breathing the mountain air and hearing the sounds. I recorded some sounds, which I'll play at some point.
Oh, excellent. I'd love to hear them. And you took a few photos, I imagine?
Oh, I took hundreds, yeah.
I know.
Yeah, I couldn't stop taking... Well, I didn't want it to detract from the experience, but the mountain was sort of the core of the experience, Mount Jagungal. So sort of circumnavigating the mountain and seeing it in all of its aspects and eventually climbing it was sort of something important. But yeah, there we go.
Well done. How long were you away all told?
5 days, I think. Yeah.
5 days.
Yeah. 4 or 5 days. Yeah, 5, I think. So, yeah, I had a couple of days here and to just get a few things organised, and I used that time to sort all of the space out for the records, because a really important thing here is to negotiate space and to emancipate things, really, so I can access the collection, because it's become really tight. It's become like a shoelace knot that's completely tight. So I've got shelves. I picked up some shelves on Gumtree for nothing. They'll be given away, some IKEA shelves.
Good home.
Yeah, and I went out there on Boxing Day and picked them up, and they fantastic. I've made space in the garage, and I can hold another 3,000 records. So that's...
It sounds like a challenge.
Well, it's been really good. I put the shelves in. I haven't filled them yet, and it won't be long before I start moving a lot of these crates of 78s out of here and start organising them, and that'll make a big difference, and it'll allow things to move a lot more fluidly, I think. Yeah, so anyhow, thank you for sharing all of that. That was a rave.
Fascinating. I wouldn't have missed it.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm sort of playing some B-sides of hits of 1954. I found my 54 album, which I think I've played before, but here's one with Johnny Ray, and I think it's on the other side of As Time Goes By, which I have played before, but this one is An Orchid for the Lady. So we'll hear this. It's on a Philips 78, and I think it's... Are we ready? I think we've got the right turntable tuned in. Let's have a listen. vk3sl.
And vk3jr.
Wine and candlelight, and an orchid for my lady. Atmosphere just right for my lovely lady fair. Such a rare perfume from the orchid for my lady. Such a lonely room with no lovely lady there. Hour by hour, my eager hopes keep fading. So did the flower, but what did my lady care? Have you ever sat alone with an orchid for your lady, when your heart has known it was one she'd never wear? Hour by hour, my eager hopes keep fading. So did the flower, but what did my lady care? Have you ever sat alone with an orchid for your lady, when your heart has known it was one she'd never wear? When your heart has known the lady didn't care.
Johnny Ray in fine form there in
He's a
1950.
decent straight song, couldn't he?
Yes, he could. I think he sort of fitted that idiom best of all, really.
So too.
Yes, there's something that's not too, doesn't require too much swing, otherwise he sort of emoted in the wrong places.
That's right. It didn't come naturally to it at all.
No, I don't think it did, but he did a good job there, and all good for the lady on a Philips 78, and yeah, the 54 album, and we also have some tracks from South Pacific, and this one is with Mary Martin and William Tabbert on a Columbia. And I should warn that the William Tabbert number, Carefully Taught, has some rather non-PC lyrics.
Oh, yes.
So just be aware. And the first track, I think, is Honey Bun, which is sort of 20s revival.
101 pounds of fun.
That's
my
right.
little honey bun.
That's the one. And that's with Mary Martin. And then, yes, Mr. Tibbet sings Carefully Taught, which I think is sort of rather sardonic take on the I'm not sure how it fits into the story, but anyhow.
Actually, you've got to be carefully taught. He's very PC in a sense. It's actually got the right message in it.
Yeah, it's right. It does it by sort of inverse association or something.
That's right. That's right.
That's it. All right, let's have a listen to two tracks from South Pacific.
My doll is as dainty as a sparrow. Her figure is something to applaud. Where she's narrow as an arrow. And she's broad, where a broad should be broad. 101 pounds of fun. That's my little honey bun. Get a load of honey bun tonight. I'm speaking of my sweetie pie, only 60 inches high. Every inch is packed with dynamite. Her hair is blonde and curly. Her curls are hurly-burly. Her lips are pips. I call her hips. Whirly and whirly, she's my babe, I'm her pap, I'm her booby, she's my trap. I am caught and I don't want to run, 'cause I'm having so much fun with honey bun. I am caught and I don't want to run, 'cause I'm having so much fun with honey bun. Believe me, Sonny, she's a cookie who can cook you till you're done. Ain't being funny, Sonny, put your money on my honey
You've got to be taught to hate and fear year. You've got to be taught from year to year. It's got to be drummed in your dear little ear. You've got to be carefully taught. You've got to be taught to be afraid of people whose eyes are oddly made, and people whose skin is a different shade. You've got to be carefully taught. You've got to be taught before it's too late, before you are 6 or 7 or 8, to hate all the people your relatives hate. You've got to be carefully taught. You've got to be carefully taught.
Okay, there we have it. 2 tracks from South Pacific, William Tibbet and Mary Martin. And I haven't seen South Pacific, so I haven't sort of become acquainted with the context of that last song. But
I've seen it. It's a good song.
Yeah, it's good.
It just talks about how prejudice is taught and not innate.
Yeah, that's it's it. Yeah, it's good to hear. Well, earlier I was sampling this album because I was in the garage sorting out these shelves and clearing out, and I've set up a turntable in the garage so I can sort of listen to things out there.
Oh, very good.
So it's it's interesting. It's an old turntable which I've had for quite some time, but it's got some innate problem which I can't quite resolve. It's an old CE 12D table, an old broadcast table, and every time I put it into neutral, it blows a fuse.
Oh no!
It trips out the circuit breaker.
You've got to keep it running.
So I've got to keep it running all the time. No, I think it's obviously a faulty switch or something. So I'll have to get into it and try and work that one out. So for the time being, I've just got it running. Whenever I switch the power on, I just got it on continuously. But it's nice to have missions out in the garage so I can sample things with these new shelves. That means that I don't have to constantly bring things into the booth, and it's good arrangement. But I was sampling these 78s, and I played a track earlier from Frank Sinatra, and what was it? It was I've Got the World on a String. Well, the other side of that is my one and only love, and I was so impressed with the singing that I brought Kate out and we listened to it together. It's just amazing. It's a funny thing about Sinatra. I developed a prejudice against him, and it's based on that sort of late era stuff where he sang out of tune and just forced his voice, and he lost, a lot of the essential qualities was sort of, I don't know, not as apparent later on.
Yeah, I understand that. It certainly all happened.
Yeah, but the early days, he's just fantastic, and this track just blows my socks off. I think it's amazing. So yeah, we'll hear Mr. Sinatra from 1954, vk3sl testing.
The very thought of you makes my heart sing like an April breeze on the wings of spring, and you appear in all your splendor, my one and only love. The shadows fall and spread their mystic charms in the hush of night while you're in my arms. I feel your lips so warm and tender, my one and only love. The touch of your hand is like heaven, a heaven that I've never known. The blush on your cheek whenever I speak, tells me that you are my own. You fill my eager heart with such desire. Every kiss you give sets my soul on fire. I give myself in sweet surrender, my one and only love. The touch of your hand is like heaven, a heaven that I've never known. And the blush on your cheek whenever I speak tells me that you are my own. You fill my eager heart with such desire. Every kiss you give sets my soul on fire. I give myself in sweet surrender, my one and only
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, he really has the feel, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah.
It's just so beautifully and heartfully sung. Incredible.
Totally natural.
It is. It's just a real natural, heartfelt expression. And yeah, he's just got so much tonal, beautiful sound and just that lovely weight in his singing. I love the way he sort of sings back on the beat and just plays with time. And it's not dissimilar to what Billie Holiday also did.
No, but it's in the same ballpark.
Yeah, I think so. It's completely changed my perception of Frank Sinatra. I always thought he was sort of was nowhere near the class of the others, but it was based on certain later I did it my way type recordings.
No, at his best there was none better.
That's it.
I think that is as good as that sort of singing gets.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, fantastic stuff. So that was a nice discovery. Yeah, there's also a Charles Trenet record in this batch. Now, we've played La Mer before, and it's a beautiful song, but there's a B-side which is just as beautiful. It's great. It's All of a Sudden My Heart Sings.
Oh, that's a lovely song.
Yeah, it's great. I won't try and pronounce it in French.
It builds up to a climax.
Yeah, it does.
Scale, doesn't it?
It does. It sort of builds up in a similar way to La Mer does, actually. It's got a similar formula. But look, he's great. And Charles Trenet, and you have to have a B-side to La Mer, and this is it. So let's have a listen. Columbia 78 from 1954.
En écoutant mon cœur chanter, chevaucher, me serrant très fort pour danser, et dans la nuit pour m'embrasser, murmurant des folies tout bas, me forçant à rire aux éclats, me faisant avec un frisson merveilleux, me caressant doucement les doigts, comprenant mes secrets et moi, prenant l'air d'un enfant gâté. Quand vous voulez tout emporter, soudain les yeux éperdus, me rendant mon bonheur perdu, tout redevient réalité. En écoutant mon cœur chanter. écoutant mon cœur chanter, je vous retrouve à mes côtés, me fais rentrer fort pour danser, et quand la nuit pour m'embrasser, murmurant des folies tout bas, me forçant à rire aux éclats, ou me faisant fermer les yeux, avec un frisson merveilleux, me pressant doucement les doigts, comprenant mes secrets d'émoi, prenant l'air d'un enfant gâté, quand vous voulez tout emporter, et soudain les yeux éperdus, me rendant mon bonheur perdu. Tout redevient réalité en écoutant mon cœur chanter.
Charles Trenet from 1954. He's classic with his intimate sing. Sorry, Frank, I had them faded down there. So, yeah, there we have it. Okay, well, Frank, I was going to suggest that we're getting close to 6 o'clock. Have you got a New Year's special piece that you'd like to hear? I can do a dial-o-matic. Are you there? Maybe not. Okay, it looks like we might have lost you, Frank. Not to worry, we'll catch up with you. And what we can do is find something else. What else? What else? What have we got? Ah, this record doesn't have a cover. Ah, here's the cover here. I did have an op shop experience last week, just before Christmas. We all decided to do the op shop thing this year. And I picked up quite a few vinyl records, including a Polydor stereo. The New Sound Conquers the World, Bert Kaempfert and his orchestra. I do have this album somewhere, but it's in bad condition. This one is a mint copy of this record. So I'll play the first track on this. It's a Swingin' Safari, which I'm sure most people know. But what intrigues me about this record is the bass guitar playing. It sort of has a percussive element. I think he must have been sort of slap stringing as he was playing the bass guitar. But classic sounds from the 60s. Okay, I think we're cued. We're on and ready to go. This is vk3sl test missions on 160 and UHF. Bert Camford and the orchestra. It's from an album called A New Sound Conquers the World. Bert Camford and his orchestra. Now, I'll just check in to see if Frank's with us again. Maybe he's been caught up with some family things, maybe. Anyhow, that's not a problem. If we're not, it doesn't work out today, we can catch up with Frank in due course. I'm not sure about the state of affairs for the next few days. I'm going to go camping again this week, and I don't know if I'll be back on Friday or not, so just wait and see. Tune in, have a listen at 5. If something's happening, all and good. If not, that's the way of things. And that'll be the case right throughout January, because it is holiday season. But be rest assured, I'll hopefully have a better access to the collection. So we look forward to further missions in 2022. So we'll go for another 5 or 10 minutes. I might listen to another track of Bert Camford and his orchestra. What's the next one? That was the Swingin' Safari. This one's called Dreaming the Blues. Sounds very inspired by the music of Duke Ellington, Cootie Williams and Bubba Marley, specialised in that plunger mute jungle sound, exemplified in a later generation by Bert Camford. There's more on this album. What's next? That was Dreaming the Blues. Next we have Sir Visa. It's a rock track. Bert Camford and his orchestra.
Bye.
A track called Sir Visa. That was Bert Camford and his orchestra. We're listening to selections from a Polydor vinyl record from the 1960s. A big hit for Mr. Camford. Oh, and there's more. We might wind up with this one actually. This is Golden Wings in the Sun. And that'll be it for today. And I don't know when we'll be back. We'll be back, but not sure when. Whether it's next week or the week after or the week after that. It's a question of just tune in, have a listen. Sometimes it starts a bit after 5, but we know how things work. Of course, we are also streaming online. So Happy New Year, folks. This is vk3sl saying cheerio. Have a good summer break.